GearWebsites.com is your source for firearms-based playing cards and books. We also have mugs, shirts, and posters with designs that we've made live. Of course, we have patches. Every Friday is Free Patch Friday. We appreciate your support. Thank you for shopping at GearWebsites.com.
It's 11:59 at Radio Free America, and this is Uncle Sam with music and the truth until dawn. Right now, I got a few words for some of our brothers and sisters in the occupied zone. The chair is against the wall. The chair is against the wall. John has a long mustache. John has a long mustache. It's 12 o'clock, Americans, another day closer to victory. And for all of you out there on or behind the lines, this is your song.
I think you can see that I'm dealing with a co-host who's upset because he can't go in his normal place. So he's right in the way of everything. We'll try to deal with this. Oh, you're going to have to go down, buddy. You can't be up here for the show. Sorry. I gave him a series of kisses and he's on his way. All right, so we're going to be taking a look at the Instagrams. What do you say this week? We take a look at the Instagrams and share them on YouTube. What does that sound like? It sounds like chocolate and ice cream cone, that kind of combination. Is that the kind of thing we're talking about here? So we do this on Wednesdays, generally speaking, in order to kind of do a warm-up for the Cape Gunworks rapid fire radio show that comes up here in a bit. So that's a show that happens every Wednesday. It's a great show. Comes out of Massachusetts. The Cape Gunworks is a gun shop there with a range. They're very active in both the Massachusetts situation that's happening there and in the national scene. And they do a show every Wednesday. They also do a show on Tuesdays, but we do this show as sort of an opening act for that show on Wednesdays. Mainly because it's such a great show, I'm going to watch it anyway. So I figured I might as well do this show as I'm getting ready to watch that one. So we're going to be taking a look at our Instagrams. What, did I close them? I guess I closed it. All right, I guess I closed it. So we're going to be opening up my Instagram, and then we're going to dig in. I guess while we're doing it, let's talk about the two different regulations.gov comment periods that are happening right now. So we have the executive branch of government. We all know that we have a representative branch of government, and then we have a judicial branch of government. So that executive branch is the military, it's the police, it's the enforcement and the regulations, or I guess the enforcement and the creation of the regulations, the interpretation and the enforcement. So the people we vote on and represent us write the laws, and then the executive branch executes those laws. And right now we've got the executive branch attempting to reinterpret existing law to suit a political agenda, a political purpose. And this is one of many fronts on a attack or a battle to confuse and disorient the population at large in order to blame the firearm and the gun owner for the symptoms or the problems that are happening due to, fill in the blank, whichever you think it is, but they want to suggest that just the single piece of property, the firearm, uniquely able to do something that they say, unlike poison or anything else, it's uniquely able to be violent. And because bad people have them, good people should lose rights. Pretty convenient for people that don't like individuals to have rights in the first place. So we have a couple of different strategies by the executive branch to change the way they interpret the laws, and the way they have to do that by law is to create a comment period. So these comment periods happen periodically as part of the process, and they're ignored by many. They're ignored by most. And while they're ignored, they are also a useful tool in our strategies and our tactics for use against the infringements against our rights. And one way that we can use these comment periods to our advantage is to use them as a fulcrum to leverage our ability to communicate with each other. We can use these as a way to show that we are able to work together when necessary, and that when challenged, we can rise to the occasion. Now, it's nice to say that or have that opinion or to assume that we can do that, but it's also nice to put that into action. So for no other reason than to learn how to work together and an effort towards combined accomplishment, collaborative accomplishment. The comment periods are a great tool for that. They also create citizenship and civic opportunity to work within our system, to understand our system, to educate others on the system. People who don't understand the system and are never taught the system tend to be frustrated when they're told to be. So knowing the system and having this opportunity to teach it is an opportunity to gain from this experience and to not be discouraged if or when the things don't go our way. Occasionally they go our way, occasionally they don't. More often than not, they go our way, especially when we take the opportunity to use these things. Right now, this particular one is being utilized in that way by the other side. The antis have figured out how to champion their base to use these opportunities to get people to rally, to give them a call to action that makes them feel like they're doing something. So we can watch that happen and we can see them get stronger, or we can do like we've done in the past and take care of business. So I'm just taking a second to talk about that. And we have two of them right now. One of them is the requirement to report to the authority on firefighting in the area that you live on whether or not you have explosives. And a lot of people see incremental changes that don't affect them as unnecessary for their attention. And other people understand that when you want to move something large, you do it in increments. And people that are paying attention know that increments are used by people who have intentions that would not be welcomed by the mass group, right? They're going to do little things to shift. So people that watch the shifting and think it doesn't apply to them are short-sighted and haven't been paying attention and have no interest in acting. Other people understand that small shifts can be indicators and can also be easier to defend and to challenge than bigger moves. So people that are ignorant and foolish are going to pay no attention to these trifles. Those who understand will understand that it's all trifles. And once you master being able to accomplish what you want while they're trifling with us, that's how we get past all this. The second one, of course, is the most important one, definition: engaged in the business of firearms. A lot of people are out there telling you the sky's falling. We have 49,000 comments, and I suspect very few of those are from our side, since how much are we hearing about this? How much of the national level scene is bringing this up on a regular basis? How is this being used as a champion for our side? Well, it's almost 50,000 for the other side at this point. And again, you can sit back and dismiss this all you want. Feel free. A lot of people are. Oh, I got to work on my van later, so we'll worry about that. So now we're going to go into Instagrams here. That's what we came here for. Got Gizzard out there and Unapologetically Armed. Welcome. And we do have a poll going for people that are joining us tonight or this afternoon, wherever it is you might be. Would you go to the Gun Rights Policy Conference this weekend? Would you go? You can say, yes, I'm going. You can say, I would go if I could afford it. You could say, nah, can't go. Don't know about it. One of those options. Kind of shove two in the same one. Or, heck no, I would not go to GRPC, because we have haters out there that do not like anything, and then there's people that don't like GRPC. So we'll find out what the people that are watching tonight think. And we've got these out there as alerts on the Instagram. So one of the ways we mix everything together here. All right, I'm digging into my Instagram account, and I'm going into the stuff that I have saved throughout the week. So now we're going to scroll back a little bit on this page to about a week ago, and I'm trying to remember when a week ago was. I remember this one, I think. So this was 6 days ago. So I guess this is 5 days ago. They're out of order. 7 days ago. So we'll say that this was the last one. So remember I mentioned the Rapid Fire Radio Show with Cape Gunworks. This is Toby, the host of the show, co-owner of the shop. Last week they had to mess with their schedule, so he posted to let people know about that. we'll use that as the beginning of the week here. So we have challenges in multiple states, and one of the states is Connecticut. The 2023 Connecticut Assault Weapons Registry posted, and the Connecticut Citizens Defense League posted this with the sort of weird infographic here with the, I guess, is that their governor? Or maybe their governor with the king hat on his head. It says the governor's HB 6667 added others and pre-1994 bans to the definition of assault weapon. Law-abiding citizens in possession of these weapons must register them with the state and receive the assault weapon certificate, just like in prior bans. More at ccdl.us, link in story. Well, if you don't call them weapons, you probably get more sympathy. So call them guns, which is what they are, and not weapons. Then you don't create connotation, and you don't make it look like you want to have weapons. I think you want to have tools to defend yourself. Anyway, so then we get to gun culture. What is going on with this? Somebody used an eraser on a whiteboard or something? Anyway, it says, always a pleasure to have Randy something of liberal gun owners bring his yin-yang, both and Chinese finger lock defeating approach to my sociology of guns class. I don't know what that means. Yin-yang, both and Chinese finger lock defeating approach. So bring people together to unlock. Is that what that's supposed to mean? I have no idea. So that eludes me, but Professor Yamane does a class on, what does it say? The sociology of guns at his school, Wake Forest University. All right, then we get to, come on, where's my mouse acting funny? I'm able to do the show even though my mouse acts funny once in a while. We got Cheryl posting about one of the events in coordination with the Gun Rights Policy Conference. So it says, join us for the two-way grassroots. I have to pause it next time. Maybe it'll pause again. So it says something about join us for the two-way grassroots roundtable and strategy summit. Thursday, September 21st, starts at 6 p.m. Oh, it is in the evening. Okay. So I don't know if Susan wants to talk about it online, but she could text me or PM me in the Instagrams if she's going to be around for that. I'm trying to figure out my time in Phoenix. And so if this is in the evening, the problem is this is $25. So I like throwing around $25. But this is a $25 event, and you get to hang out with Cheryl, Diana, dude from AZCDL I've never met before, and then this guy who's he's some sort of a congressperson here in Arizona, or he was at least. Holly, Philip, Alan, some guy. That's probably Gun Rights North Carolina. I think Grassroots North Carolina. That looks like a bulldog eating a piece of paper. And then you got some guy from Goa and somebody and Laura Smith. So opportunity to meet a bunch of people. And then we've got, and listen to what they're talking about. So it's a strategy summit. I'm curious to see what strategy there is, because I don't know how these organizations work together, if at all. Really not at all. So I'd like to hear how I would really like to see that. Late Thursday night, so you'll miss that. Oh, it's a fundraiser for DC Project? Man, that seems like such an interesting way. I'm going to just say that's an interesting way to raise funds. But good, right on. So the next up is Rebecca saying, anti-gun folks, you talk about violence all the time. Why don't you want people to be able to defend themselves from the very violence you speak of with the most effective and efficient tools available today? Really? All right. So then it says, anti-gun folks, why don't you want people to be able to defend from violence? I mean, I usually understand Rebecca, and I appreciate what she's doing. Here's the deal. This is not going to work. This doesn't work to people who see guns as the instigation of violence. So they feel that there would be less violence of a lesser degree if guns weren't in the picture. So us saying we want to defend ourselves from the violence to them seems is foolish. They consider themselves smarter than us. So when we say there's bad, we need a gun to defend from the bad, they say there wouldn't be bad without guns. So that's a gridlock. That is lock and horns, and you're just fighting without actually trying to make a point. So we can easily talk about this when they want to get rid of violence. Instead of saying, what about the violence that we need to defend ourselves? Just say, when you ask them, for example, another way to sidestep this is, if you believe that removing guns from society, why do you believe that makes someone less violent? Removing the gun does not remove the baseball bat or the, fill in the blank, other thing. So to suggest that we need guns to defend ourselves from the violence does not reach the people who think the violence is caused by guns. You don't have to agree with them to understand their position and know when it's a futile argument. Usually Rebecca offers a bit of an alternative to the standard, my rights, my property. In this case, my security. I'm going to start adding that. Just because you're scared doesn't mean other people's rights don't matter. They're scared and they don't want your rights. So don't jump to their position. Be better than their position. Educate them why their position is greedy, selfish, and stupid. And don't take that position. But I'm going to keep going. So, I seen that on 500 is out there. Good afternoon. And he says, I saw on Twitter that you reposted from Crump and AmmoLand your support for the ATF background checks. Please tell me this was a joke or something. What are you talking about, dude? The post from Crump is saying that the ATF is doing a comment period right now. It's not in support of the fucking comment period. But thank you very much for reposting on the Twitter. I always appreciate that. I was just going to say, you're about whenever I go to Twitter, the activity I have is almost always includes 500 Magnum reposting over there. So that's very effective. I thank you for that. All right. So SOTEC is saying, or SOTEC is Special Operations Tactical out of California. Great organization making gear for people that use gear. In other words, specific gear for specific tasks. And then that gear ends up being useful for other things, and they make it available. It's all made here in the United States. Disabled veterans are a majority of the employees, and very high-end stuff. There's top-of-the-line stuff you can get. In this case, they're talking about a helmet scrim that essentially conceals and changes the shape of a helmet. So if you're dealing with vegetation, you don't look like a smooth shape amongst vegetation. Let's see. Next up is from, I don't know if Anne Marie ever shows up in these chats. She shows up in other people's chats. It says to ban guns because criminals use them is to tell the law-abiding their rights and liberties depend not on their own conduct, but that of the guilty and lawless. I don't know who this old guy is, some old guy with a beard, but this position, I believe, is one of the better ones that we ignore. This position clarifies this absurdity that we see. When you're talking to someone who sees the absurdity that the world would be peaceful if there weren't for things that were unpeaceful, that they can have that position. They're allowed to have that position. Our job, our challenge is to make them understand our position so that they can change their position. You're not going to fight their position away from them. So this, I think, does a great job of that. I wish we'd see this enunciated in more ways and used more often. You can see how many likes it's getting because it's just a regular person posting it. It's not a big giant channel getting that information around. Tony is a big giant channel getting the information around. It says any politician, regardless of their office, that calls for the infringement of any civil right needs to be fired and become a cautionary tale. The amount of tolerance, ignorance, and apathy American citizens have shown over having rights stripped away is disgusting and pathetic. It's a bunch of big words to really get the point across. And it says, over here, this is essentially one of his Twitter posts, I think. And he says, the latest Second Amendment infringement in the news today is the governor of New Mexico banning legal carry for 30 days. The latest political puppet. So here's the deal. I'm not going to read the rest of that because I don't care about her. She's a red herring. This was 6 days ago. Is or is not that over? This is at the beginning of that, and it's over already. So I talk about cycles. I talk about getting distracted. They send intentional distractions out there. They know that we like to look at barking dogs, and we get interested, and we debate whether or not the dog should be barking or what they're barking about. So they send out barking dogs, and they know that we're never going to get where we're going, which is removal of the NFA, awareness that guns are not the problem, that guns actually solve problems of violence. But again, let's keep moving. So this one says from Firearms Policy. They made one out of some cartoon that I don't know, probably Family Guy or something. Step 1, hate human liberty. Step 2, you act unilaterally and claim supreme authority. And then it's got what's her face claiming or learning how to be a tyrant. So it says, good morning, everybody. Except her, tyrants don't deserve good mornings. So I guess that works for firing up a base and getting everybody upset, but we'll keep moving on. I don't need to keep harping on it. Like, or 500 Magnum saying, just found that post odd. Well, maybe I misread it. I thought the post was letting people know that the comment period is out. If it's something else, then I don't know. But one of us is misreading that post. But I like Crump, and it's the only one I can tell that is, except for that girl from GOA. Her and Crump are the only two that are even talking about the comment periods, and we're getting fucking creamed in the comment periods. 50,000 comments against rights. And last time we were winning. Nobody's even paying attention to it this time. It's freaking pathetic, but whatever. Boneyard Safari. So this is a channel I follow that has boats. So, you know, the Navy exists. We got to get our mail and our trucks places. So this is some Navy boat, the BB-62 on September 7th, 1943. It says, notice anything different about the bridge? Well, of course I don't, because I barely know where the bridge is even at, but I'm guessing it's somewhere up here. And I'm thinking from the comments that this was some old boat where they didn't even put the bridge indoors. So that's kind of neat. So this thing is just sitting there. It's on a leash. So it's just sitting in the water. It's not going anywhere, but super neat picture. They would have had to take that with an airplane back in the day, I imagine, unless they had a balloon or something up in the air. So this is an old one. People who surround themselves with security guards and walls, right? Don't let people who surround themselves with security guards and walls tell you that you don't need a firearm for self-defense. This is from a gun shop here in Arizona called AZ Guns. And then it's talking about, what's her face again? Calling for a thing. So I just like to point out that not just the big players are talking about this one, some of the gun shops. So it's an excuse to get some attention to one of the gun shops that's upset about this stuff. And this is gun shops in Arizona, you know, pretty much immediately getting pissed about what's happening in New Mexico. I'm going to let these guys talk. So I'm going to hit
How'd you like this event?
And I'm going to, I think you can hear this if I play this, right? So this is Tony talking about one of his new volunteers.
Hello, I'm here with Mark. Mark, you've done everything from coming out as an attendee to actually become a volunteer at our event.
I have.
How'd you like this event?
It was lovely. I enjoyed all your events, Tony. This one was nice. A nice diverse group of individuals. Some older, younger, male, female, different races, backgrounds, creeds, colors. Good time. Good time at 248.
Look at you. You almost had it down.
Almost.
I don't care. Hey, man, thanks for coming out. Really
Thank
appreciate
you.
it.
Thanks for having me.
Hello, I'm here with Mark. Mark, you've done everything from...
I thought that was pretty cool. Well, personally, I think it's cool that Tony has got people helping him out, and you know that he's able to get video up like this while he's at the event. But then it's neat that my speakers are picking up the mic, because when we're having a conversation, it won't. So I guess that's it is StreamYard. I'm in StreamYard. I don't know how it knows. Mike White is saying, I think people have become apathetic, so they are not commenting. I can only tell you what I know, right? And from what I can find out, and I posted a poll around on my platforms, and the majority of people that answer say they don't know there's a comment period. So if you want to blame anything, don't blame the people that are apathetic. I think we are normal. We are what we are. I mean, we can change a little bit over time, become cooler, better, awesomer, whatever we do. But the people who we pay to pay attention, the people that we pay to be our watchdogs, our defenders, our alert, right? Those people are sleeping. Those people have decided it's funner and more cool, they get more likes and more money when they act cool and entertain or scare So we've got a lack of SAC, essentially, if I'm allowed to say that. But so don't blame the people with the lack of whatever. Blame the organizations at a national level that bring in tens of millions of dollars a year that are based in time talking about the New Mexico governor and not about the comment periods. But maybe that's just me. I have a negative attitude about the way that we allocate our resources. Then we got Battle Comp. This is awesome organization, awesome company that makes muzzle devices, actually. Says definition of inalienable rights, a noun, rights that are not alienable, rights that are not transferable or capable of being taken away or nullified. Comes from the French inalienable. So that sucks. We have a French word in our Constitution, but whatever. Battle Comp says, yet far too many people think inalienable means it can be redefined, modified, or legislated away. It's the information age. We should probably understand the plain text and legal definitions before killing more trees with word games. There's no need to trust the terms MSM, mainstream media, bandies about, especially when quoting politicians without checking ourselves. So I always like them, and I like to give them credit whenever I can. They're a great organization. I'm not going to say nothing about that last post, so we'll just keep going on. The governor, blah, blah, blah. So here's Colion Noir talking about the situation. Watch this compelling video as I shed light on the real life scenario in New Mexico where a boutique owner, despite following all the proper channels, pleading for help, had to take her safety into her own hands. She had 3 break-ins in a life-threatening incidents while the tyrannical New Mexico governor circumvented constitutional rights. Discover how Second Amendment's true purpose is to empower individuals. And why did I post this one?
This sign sits proudly in the front window of Groove Boutique in Albuquerque. A warning to potential criminals: concealed carry permit on premises.
It's basically what it's come down to protect myself, to protect my employees.
In the months since Letitia Leyba opened the boutique, she's been through multiple break-ins and a life-threatening situation involving a homeless man.
I decided enough is enough. I have to protect myself.
I'm not going to copyright, but well, maybe at the end of this, Colion's going to say something. Honestly, I don't remember. This was 4 days ago why I posted this one. Imagine I probably started out being aware of the New Mexico thing, and then it probably took me a day or two to be disgusted by it, if it even took that long. I'm trying to remember. I've been doing some other stuff. But here we go.
Consider that decision.
Oh, no, it's not even listening to her. So here's my thing, and I'm going to keep saying this forever. Oh, here, let's listen
to her own hands. And that is what the Second Amendment is about. That's the whole purpose of it, is to give the people the ability to
Yeah, I don't know why I saved this one. Maybe just as a precautionary tale. Now, this guy's been around for a while, so you're not going to change his mind. But I believe we fail when we depend on fear and crime to defend our rights. That's one nice side effect, is that we can defend ourselves against crime. Crime's going to go up or down. Our rights are going to stay the same. We should not tie our rights to being afraid or high crime. When crime goes down, which it will, they've created the crime, they being people with weird priorities with social and political projects, or what am I trying to say? The political structures. Those things create the problems, and they can remove the problems by changing those systems or doing other things. They create the problems. Once the problems exist, they use that to get rid of the thing that they're working on, which is gun ownership. So we do ourselves a disservice by simply reacting. So I'll say that forever. I've been saying that forever. Like, personal security is nice, but it should not be a primary reason for us owning guns. All right, next we get to FPC, and they got what's-his-face crying, of course, got his eyes and his hair and everything. And then they're throwing we under the bus. So I don't know if the governor did that or FPC did that, but somebody's throwing we under the bus yet again, having an awesome logo that everybody's going to suggest when they want to. They're going to clutch their pearls, and when they don't, they're going to act like it's nothing. So, that's just society, and this is just a reflection of society, but they're taking it again. It says new, a panel of right-wing judges just blocked our bill that stopped gun manufacturers from marketing weapons of war to kids. This is pure insanity. Guns are now the leading cause of death for kids. And what are we doing? Allowing folks to promote junior AR-15s with sick cartoons like the one below. So, and then it's got him showing a picture of this logo in a little different way. And I'm assuming then gun policy decided to art this up the way they did. Here's the guy that everybody hates saying guns are weapons, and then we go around calling them weapons, or some people go around calling them weapons. So don't play into their bullshit. It says, remember who to point and laugh at for clutching his pearls over a 22 long rifle with a tamper-resistant, redundant safety. You're losing, Gavin, and watching you flail like a pathetic bitch you are is glorious. All right, well, what the fuck? So it's hard to like FPC. They're doing some good stuff, and then they do some dumbass shit out there. So what are you going to do? Everybody's free to do what they're going to do. If you're not satisfied, you can leave comments. You can create your own organization too, right? Or you can dig it. Maybe people dig that shit. So here we got Maj. What's he saying?
Charges. He bought a Colt revolver.
Okay, let's definitely listen to this one from the beginning, because the other thing that they're distracting from with California, well, they actually probably was the distraction so that California could get through. I don't know. California got 17 new fucking gun controls. But Maj has a great point here with the Biden thing. The Biden thing's a clusterfuck as well. Oops.
Indicted on gun charges and how it's wrong. Hunter Biden, son of now President Joe Biden, has been federally indicted on gun charges. He bought a Colt revolver while allegedly on narcotics. Now, you could say, how would they even know that Hunter was on drugs or using drugs or drugs? How could they allege that? Well, for the 11 days between when he filled out the form and when he went on his binge, there's video, and I guess they're tying those videos in together. Also, he just ditched the car in Delaware, and he just ditched it. And that 11-day time span when they wound up finding this vehicle after he ditched it, they found paraphernalia along with the firearms, so forth and so on. And a lot of people are saying, hey, this was a long time coming. About time somebody charged him. This investigation has been going on for about 5 years now. And so in that 5 years, when he got the sweet deal and everybody said, oh, that's a baby sweet cake walk in the park deal, some of those things started to fall apart. Now, how did we get to this plea deal falling apart? U.S. District Judge Mary Allen Noreka said that the agreements weren't straightforward and they contained some provisions that was a little sweetheart dealish. So that deal fell apart, and that's where it opened it up for this. But let's get to the actual charges themselves first. These charges allege that in 2018, he lied on a federal form of 4473, and they ask you on there, basically, are you using any controlled substances, meaning cocaine, heroin, ecstasy, and of course, weed. During that time, he said, I am not, checked off on the box, I am not addicted to, using, so forth and so on, any controlled substance. Regardless of what media tells you, every time you purchase a firearm in a gun store from a FFL, Federal Firearms Licensee, you're going to fill out that form and it's going to ask you that question. When he, in essence, said no, in essence, he was breaking a federal law. Both of those carry a...
All right, that's way too long, but you get the idea. The Hunter Biden 4473 thing is garbage. That's a red herring in order to make us love 4473s because we hate Biden. It's a joke. So it's either a great political strategy or it's them just throwing shit at the wall and some of it's going to stick. But either way, listen to the people who are hesitant about this. I just seen that 500 Magnum said that FPC has stepped up to offer what's his face a case of support, and that he's an asshole, but he shouldn't go to jail for something that is unconstitutionally stupid. Exactly. If that's not the position we take uniformly or unilaterally, then we're failing as being able to walk together when necessary. We never need to walk in lockstep, but if we can't walk in the same direction when it's obvious, even when the other side is throwing us such an obvious poison bone, then we got to quit freaking eating bones, period. Like, I don't know what we got to do, but this is one where we've got multiple distractions thrown in front of us while we have the obvious road to walk. Speaking of throwing a dog a bone, it says, just drive. And that's a girl dog? I keep forgetting, I guess. But I don't know. I'm assuming those ears go flapping when you're flying down the road. I'm scared to put my dogs out the heads out the windows because I don't know. I'm just scared they jump out. I would do it if I had him tethered. Or I used to stick his head out because he's like 60 pounds inside the car and however much his head weighed outside the car. I didn't have a problem with it. But like Mello, she's crazy. So I don't know what she would do. But the little dude, like he's stupid. He falls out of things all the time. So he would definitely fall out of the car. No. The guy that he was commenting on, I'm trying not to be a dick, but not Maj. I was afraid that would happen. No, I don't like Maj. I don't dislike Maj. He does good stuff. You know, he's not perfect, I'm sure, but I respect what Maj is doing for sure. Okay, so there's unapologetically, I don't know if she's still in here, but unapologetically puppy right there. Then we go to, let's stay in Missouri for a minute and talk about Kalashnikon. So this is a winter event focused on the Kalashnikov. The evolution of gun shows has developed into events at ranges with competitions and sometimes even some cosplay and some just having some fun in there. And that's what we're seeing with things like Kalashnikon. So they also don't all last forever. So supporting the things that develop and evolve the community, give people with different tastes and interests, different walks of life, a way to involve themselves with firearms that isn't based on freaking fear and self-protection and worrying about crime. It's such a joke. Anyway, this stuff is it's a little bit of fun. It's a little bit of collecting. It's a little bit of history. It's a little bit about gloating that we won the Cold War and we're playing with the tools that were literally built to kill us. Everything about this is fun. I wish it was closer so I could check it out. Since it's happening in winter of 2024 at Houston, Missouri, which I don't even know if that's real. It's Houston. There's a town in, what is Missouri? Just like they got Kansas, Missouri. They got St. Louis, Missouri. Like, come on. Every town in Missouri is named after some other state or something. What happened in Missouri? Anyway, this is happening in January. So what is that? At the same time as SHOT Show? What the hell is that? That part I don't like. I don't know what they were thinking there. Is that real? What time is SHOT Show? I gotta go look at when SHOT Show is. SHOT Show, not Short Show. 2023. No, 2024. January 23rd. So this is the weekend before SHOT Show in Missouri. They shouldn't have done that. They should have done it a different week. Anyway. All right. Let's see. Oh, she is chained, and yeah, her ears and lips go everywhere. Jowls go everywhere. Her mouth goes everywhere. Biden administration is going to create an office next week, some strictly for gun control, strictly to distract us from the comment periods, strictly to spin us off in another direction. We can ignore the shit out of what Biden does for as long as we want, because everything he does is restrained by the judicial and executive and the representative or the Congress. I don't know what the hell I'm trying to find there. Don't leave the window down at high speeds. I gotcha. We got to figure out how to get a picture of that. Let's see. We happen to have a Mexico, Missouri, right? Let's see. Houston is in south central Missouri, about an hour east of Springfield. Really? Maybe I've gone through it then. Is it on the road that you go to Branston and shit and get to Oklahoma from? Is that 40? What am I trying to do? I'm going to go over here and see. Well, let's take a look at the poll. Would you go to the Gun Rights Policy Conference this year or this weekend? Yes, I'm going is 12%. I would go if I could afford it is 38%. Can't go, don't know about it is 50%. Second Amendment Foundation brings in something like $16 to $20 million a year, and they don't know about the Gun Rights Policy Conference. That's not your fault. I'm just saying you don't make $20 million a year and do one thing. Heck no, would not go to GRPC. 0 votes. So that's cool. Nobody's even being lame troll today. So let's see. I was going to go find out when Rapid Fire Radio is starting. Shit, did it already start? Oh, it's about to start. Is it 1 o'clock already? Yeah, it's about to start. All right, we'll hurry up. So I'm going to drag this over to my third window. I have a lot of windows. I get to go change out my throttle position sensor when this is all over. Anybody wants to super chat? That'd be awesome. There's no obligation, but I can guarantee all money in super chats today will go to a throttle position sensor. All right, so let's dig back into Instagram. We've got 2A cops, a couple of cops out of California that post kind of the perspective of law enforcement officers that can actually talk because they're not, they're retired now. Pretty interesting perspective. And mostly YouTube, but here they are on Instagram, so I figured I'd post them so I could plug them. If anyone knows where this store is, leave it in the comments. This is an aisle I can hang out in, and then it's got the aisle sign. So there goes Rapid Fire Radio. Here's what I like to do when something starts. I'll go over there, I'll give it a thumb up, and then I'll go. Then I let the robot fix all the spelling. Many crickets. And then that, and then all right, then put it back on, drop it down. I got super wicked speakers now, so now I have to learn that I can't have anybody's volume up. I used to have to crank everything because my speakers were so bad. Now they're so awesome, I have to turn everything down. I have a lot of problems. I have a lot of volume issues lately. All right, so beer, pizza, potatoes, guns, Bibles, and sweatpants. So it's probably photoshopped, but I guess it's possible that somebody set all that stuff up in one aisle. Probably photoshopped.
So tomorrow is the start of our 31st annual machine gun shoot.
I won't take forever to have you listen to Melissa do the whole thing, but this is her chatting up the machine gun shoot that happened last weekend. This was before the weekend, and this is having Dark Angel Medical there. So they had a industry event where they had a bunch of people, and they invited a bunch of companies and stuff. And
Rapid Fire. I'm your host, Toby Leary.
Okay, I'm definitely corking them now, so we'll hurry it up. But they had Dark Angel Medical, which is legit. You're going to get a lot of scammers out there, a lot of fakes who just can figure out they can resell first aid equipment cheaply. And then you get actual medics and stuff who aren't going to just sell you garbage, and they're going to sell you expensive stuff. And they often get discouraged and lose faith in what's going on because people are too apt to buy garbage. So first aid kind of matters. It's sort of life, what should I say? Life's at stake. So if you're interested in real medical, I can guarantee Dark Angel Medical is legit, while you have never seen me say anything about any other medical company. Think about that. Then we've got Yellow Mart. It's a cool shop that I follow, and they're talking about one of their employees that passed. That's pretty cool. It's a real shop, home or a family type shop, and they are remembering an employee. I started watching Sierra Delta Dogs after listening to an interview a while back. It's an organization that unites dogs and veterans. I don't like that they're wiping the flag around like this, but it is art, so we're going to say this one's okay. This says, this week our community was debating a complex topic. We'd like you to weigh in. What do you think about the sentiment, "Thank you for your service"? For some of us, it brings a sense of pride and appreciation. For the rest of us, it sounds like our value to society is in the past. It doesn't say that, but a lot of people think that it's derogatory. It's a way to pass us off, to pass off veterans. At Sierra Delta, we hold strongly to the truth that there are many ways to serve your country and community, and while your military service may be over, the leadership skills, strength, and fortitude you've developed continue to be the greatest assets to our community and our country. What are your thoughts? And that's an interesting one. I don't know how they had very many comments because their channel isn't huge, but I've been in conversations about that before. And, different people have different experiences and different lives. And this thing can mean different things to different people at different times. But when you blow off saying thank you for your service, realize that the other person is understanding that you're blowing it off. So I'd say it when you literally mean it, and consider just saying right on. When somebody says they've provided military service for something, just like, yeah, right on, thanks. Glad your family was able to get through it. But actually, don't do that, because sometimes it doesn't happen. Anyway, interesting topic, and too late in the show to really get into it. Be a great topic for somebody who has a conversation every single week, though. Speaking of Cape Gunworks, right? They're posting this. They're live over here at the same time. This is called corking. When somebody has their own time slot and you decide to just do your show anyway, I am corking. Toby is being corked right now. So that's their post. Ugh, they got a flag on the fucking floor. What's up with that? Anyway, it's Second Amendment, the Constitution Day. This is an amazing panel of Second Amendment experts. So Constitution Day was the 17th, and they had Carrie Ann, they had Toby, they had Charlie Cook, Jim from Gun Owners Action League, and then some other people who I don't know. And brought a bunch of them together for 3 hours and had a $30 fundraiser. And, because of Massachusetts 4420. In the front, VA, in the front, WA. This was from one of the organizations in Washington State that did the most for gun rights, is a suicide prevention organization. And this says, I would hope that it's not a competition to only help the group that is most at risk of suicide. All people deserve to be treated with dignity, respect, and compassion, with culturally dignifying programs and interventions. And this is somebody who's wrote a comprehensive approach to suicide prevention. And then it says, we're grateful to have on our advisory council, and so happy that you presented today's suicide prevention and something that I can't read, event. So anyway, there's a couple of organizations out there, few that are focused on suicide prevention and mental health awareness. In the forefront, WA is one of them. You could check that out on the Instagrams.
The one thing that this
fucking Tony's copyright in me. So Tony's always posting stuff over here. Here's him posting a bunch of pictures. Well done. Got Melissa, Dragon Man's daughter, shooting this thing. So she says here, rounds in both directions. I was expecting the recoil of normally full, expecting the recoil of a normal full auto M4, but quickly realized it was twice the force, and I had to regroup. So essentially, it's just one of the machine guns that's out there. And then she says something like, this is actually a challenge, but thanks to Holy Creek, they always manage to impress me with something new. What should we call her? Well, you should call her what it is. It's a Tromix gun that was made by Tony Romix out of Tulsa area years and years ago. And if you remember that one show made out of Baton Rouge, I forgot what the name of that show was. Red Dragon Guns or something was down there. Anyway, Tromix was down there, and I'm pretty sure they shot it on national television like 10 years ago now, 11 years ago. But essentially, they take the gas tube from one and jam it in, pipe it into the gas tube of the other, and lay them on top of each other. And then that way, when you shoot one, it cycles the action on the other. And when that one finishes its cycle, it starts yours, and you end up having a full auto. It's pretty neat. I guess you could set it up to be semi-auto also. But it's going to shoot too, I think. But I don't know. Anyway, this was Constitution Day on the 17th. Not that many people mentioned it, but they usually don't. This is another classic FPC showing us eyeballs and nostrils and nose hairs and creepy shit like this. I don't know what they're trying to do. I guess it's because people grow up watching horror movies. They like looking at creepy shit. I think people that have actually had to look at creepy shit, work in a sewer, work in a morgue, work around dead people, and you don't like to look at that shit no more. So I get annoyed when I have to see that shit. This is Triggrology. Always does good stuff, and he was on somebody else's chat, California Liberty Project. It was pretty interesting. I listened to a portion of it. This guy's not a gun guy. California, people call him weird for a reason. They're different than the rest of us. Let's just put it that way. This is another one from 2A Cops, Science of the Day. If you leave DNA fingerprints on everything you touch, except bags of cocaine when you're at the White House. So we can leave it at that. We're not trying to get political, but there's reality, and there's the way stuff happens. So this is pretty epic. I'll probably get copyrighted, but this is from Ed's Manifesto. Awesome video. I wish I could make it bigger.
Set up. Stay on him, son. Come on. Hold up. Let me tighten this up. Oh, gosh, that's a good one. Come on. Stay on it, son. Come on. Stay on it. Come on. Get him up. Really. Come on. Crack back. Don't let him pull you in. Come on. Real, son. That's a big one. Come on. Stay on him. Don't let him jump. Come on, son. Yeah! Let's freaking go, boy! Let's go! Come on, boy! Yeah! Oh, man! Let's go, kid! Let's go, buddy! Look at that! Let's get him in the middle of the floor. Oh my gosh, man! What a freaking giant!
I don't know if you can tell the size of that fish, but you could tell how excited that kid and his dad were. All right, so back to Rebecca. She says, please note, you will experience as much liberty as you make up your mind to exercise. That's what we expect from Rebecca. So exercise in individual liberty requires practicing personal responsibility. Lazy people don't experience true liberty. Interesting. I like calling people out for being lazy all the time. You don't see enough people doing it, but some people need a kick in the freaking ass, right? We got Goal, Massachusetts. Look at this. No flag anywhere. I am so happy to share this one. There's not one flag on the floor. And they talked about the horrible shit in Massachusetts without dropping a flag on the floor. They should be congratulated. This is your fight to win or lose. If not you, then who? If not now, then when? Good stuff. Make your voice heard. It could be your last one. Good use of fonts and colors. Pretty easy to figure this one out. It's easy to understand it, identify it, and then, simple to read. I like this one. They probably could have gone with one less saying on there and brought the date up a little bit, but love it. NSSF, showing a creepy picture of what's his face and his friend. ATF, FFL definition expansion isn't just unconstitutional, it's unfeasible. So quit showing us this goofy ass picture and get the unfeasible part out there. You're the NSSF, for crying out loud. You're the industry liaison at the national level. Let's get this to be in everyone's conversation, how it's not feasible. These aren't just unconstitutional. They're not possible. They're delusionary distractions. Anyway. The Biden administration is forcing federal agency charged with overseeing the strictly regulated firearms industry to tighten up a vice grip on private gun owners, the administration, blah, blah, blah. So essentially, I love and hate with NSSF. I do not want to see them fearmonger. I want to see them explain and create resources for us to be better. I don't need to have more fearmongering or hype. We'll move on. I'm trying to
long-held prejudices should be.
This is amazing.
Wisdom. The position America's taken on Master Shredder is one of the issues that should be re-examined. Master Shredder started his life in martial arts. He challenged Master Splinter to control the dojo. He lost. He did not sulk. He did not seek revenge. He instead thought he'd move to America and start a new life. But the America he found was not that shining city on the hill that Reagan spoke about, but it was 1980s New York, the height of the crack epidemic. Shredder may have tried to find traditional work, but there's not a lot of work for an immigrant whose only training is the way of the ninja, especially a ninja who's covered in knives. But he saw injustice. America's drug policy and the economic crisis on the streets of New York, boys without fathers. I am your father. In the racially tense streets of New York, he created the Foot Clan and welcomed boys of all backgrounds. He provided them discipline, training, a way of life away from the streets. They never touched guns. It was strict, sure, but remember where Shredder came from. A rural, traditional Japanese background. Did they steal? Yes. That's not great. But the gaping lack of opportunity in those neighborhoods did not provide a lot of options, and Shredder sold mainly only Japanese electronics. Master Splinter could have stayed in Japan and enjoyed running the dojo that he had won. Instead, he had to go all the way across the world to twist the blade in his enemy. They say you grow into the face you deserve, and he did. He became a rat. He's given so much credit for raising the turtles, but he used those boys. He raised them in a sewer. They're reptiles. They can't regulate their own body temperature, yet he never let them see the sun. He taught them discipline. Hardly. Those boys ate pizza 3 meals a day. Turtles should eat primarily leafy greens. He never gave them greens. He would simply watch as they would nonstop sexually harass April O'Neil. He would never say a word. He taught them discipline. He only taught them violence. April O'Neil wasn't innocent either. She teased those young, lonely teenage boys so she could get a weekly scoop and continued to push her false Foot Clan media agenda. The media is meant to be objective. She was far from it. She never once attempted to interview anyone from the Foot Clan or Master Shredder. Splinter just used those boys for his vendetta against the Shredder, who was trying to better the community. This was 1980s New York. Could Splinter have gone after crack dealers, pimps, corrupt bankers, Wall Street fat cats? No. He took his horny malnutrition turtles and he beat up guys stealing radios from Radio Shack. He used violence to protect corporate interests in a time when the poor were suffering. The Foot Clan were stealing TVs. That is true. But these were 1980s TVs. They weigh as much as a refrigerator. Stealing a TV in the 1980s took 4 people. These boys were learning teamwork, communication, employable skills. Do you think Splinter really cared about clock radios? How did Donatello get his technology? They had a TV. They had video games. They had takeout 3 meals a day. None of them have jobs. Where was that money coming from? April O'Neil never cared to ask those questions, and either did America. Shredder did not get rich. He wore the same clothing every single day, a suit made of knives, but never cut anyone. He chose stainless steel as the most sustainable clothing. He found the only cave in New York and lived there. Sure, later in life he moved into an interdimensional technodrome, but in meeting a warlord from another dimension, did he use that power to take over the planet? No. He just focused Crane's energy on the turtles. Imagine Master Splinter had befriended Crane. Shredder is owed an apology. He became a monster, but I think we made him that monster. And Master Splinter deserves what's coming to him. He was the Joe Jackson of martial arts.
It's pretty epic. I never heard that position before, so I'll bring that up to Matt and see what he says. I'll probably get copyrighted for that, so they might pull this whole show down. Chicago Mike is saying they should make Ninja Turtles versus Batman. There's a, it's like last year, I think. It's not versus. It kind of is. They kind of start out being enemies. I don't want to spoil it, but, they're both good guys. But, or maybe they're both good guys. Oh, hold on a second. Maybe it depends because I already have 2 of them. But if it's one I don't have, sure. Can you send me a link or something? All right, that was easier than doing anything else. But yeah, and it's a pretty good one. It's I like it. I've watched it about 4 times already. The Batman and Ninja Turtles. So that was on Ed's Manifesto's channel, Manifest Radio Podcast. Totally worth checking out. Like, I really like that position. It's worth
the notice and
to
comment
again.
period is an opportunity for people to voice their opinions and force the ATF to change the rule or drop it entirely. There are many examples of this happening. Famously, in 2015, the Obama administration directed the ATF to ban green tip ammunition. Because of an outpouring support from GOA members, the administration had to shelve this rule. But in recent years, we've noticed that whenever we post about notice and comment periods, there seems to be a vocal group of the community who is pro-gun but opposes commenting. These folks seem to think that it's a waste of time to leave a comment because the ATF has moved forward with the rulemaking anyway. First off, the idea that commenting is a waste of time is absolutely false. Even if the ATF moves forward and implements a rule, we still have the legal means of defeating them through the Administrative Procedures Act in Congress and through the court system with a lawsuit, using your comments as evidence of ATF overreach. But what's worse here is that the attitude among gun owners who don't think their voice matters gives the ATF exactly what they want. The notice and comment period is an opportunity for people to voice their opinions and force the ATF to change the rule or drop it entirely. There are many examples of this happening.
I think it's repeating itself, right? So this is an epic post. I wish Gun Owners America just did this level and higher all the time. I forgot what her name is. She's the only one except for Crump that's even talking about this because it's not cool or something. But GOA needs to just worry about this, get rid of their stupid form, and just get people to organically send in stuff and use this as an opportunity to collaborate. This is the best post ever, and it feeds in itself. Anytime you make a short video like this, it should feed into itself. You should not know where it starts and begins, and then that'll create more engagement, and you will have a growth from this post. Excellent post. I'm changing my mind about her, and well, I'm not changing my mind on Gun Owners America. They make a lot of money. Let's see them do something. Where's their gun rights policy conference? Let's see. So here's FPC. Federal government argued in a criminal case that England's disarming of Catholics proves historical support for modern laws disarming felons. So this is good. And I think that we need to have more of this kind of stuff out there. These are the things that can help the intellectual people who think they're so much smarter than us actually grasp that the futility and the inconsistency of some of this stuff. And in this case, the irony, I think, is the better word. So that's what happened on, wait, is that the end? No, I don't know what's going on. There's still more. There's that AZ Guns again, gun shop in Arizona. Look at that wicked awesome SBS. So first off, semi-auto SBSs deserve a special place out there. This one has a threaded barrel, so I'm guessing it's for a silencer co-salvo. Is that what it's called? Their suppressor. But by themselves, they're just super wicked looking. Like, this is the reason enough to get rid of the stupid NFA is just so we can have awesome looking semi-autos like this one. But it says a short barreled shotgun, SBS, is a shotgun with a barrel less than 18 inches. SBSs are regulated by the National Firearms Act and require a tax stamp to own. SBSs are popular for a number of reasons. They are more compact and easier to carry than traditional shotguns, making them ideal for home defense. They are also more maneuverable in close quarters, which can be an advantage in self-defense situations. There are a variety of different types of SBSs available, including pump action, semi-automatic, and lever action models. Oh, now that I'm looking at it, this is a pump. I was thinking it was a semi because of the way they cut it. Stop into Arizona to learn more. Okay, now I don't like this gun as much. It's a stupid 870 with the barrel cut off too short. So this is too short. This is probably for that suppressor, and it looks stupid with a pump. But I like it when it's a semi-auto like this. Anyway, I also like that gun shop took the time to explain it. Not enough people do the basics often enough, I suppose. So seeing some just basics explained, the NFA in that portion of the NFA explained, good idea. Faster saves lives. Pretty good image. Just a regular guy, I suppose, walking up some weird stairs like MC Escher, and then it's got a thing. So it's probably an AI, I'm guessing. Some guy wearing a cape in the shadow behind him. So it says anyone can be a hero. So it's a pretty good visual, right? Gets the point across. All it takes is a staff member willing to do whatever is necessary to stop the killing. They are out there. They just need the tools and training to complete the mission. Are you that person? I don't know. So whatever. It's an okay statement, but I think that's a pretty good one. And Faster is a good organization. So let's chat them up. Suicide Prevention Month is September. This is the Green Beret Foundation posting that September marks Suicide Prevention Month, a time when individuals, organizations, and communities unite to raise awareness about the importance of mental health and suicide prevention. While preventive measures are vital, it's equally crucial to address the needs of the individuals who are in immediate distress. In this blog post, we'll explore the significance of intervention support in suicide prevention and discuss effective ways to provide timely help to those at risk. Interesting, and I think a pretty good graphic because of the whole night vision thing. It says, "You are not alone," #suicide prevention. So we got a lot of mention of Walk Talk America, which is essentially our only national level organization focused on mental health and suicide prevention. And then, of course, Brooke Cheney doing her suicide prevention Saturday, the only consistent effort being done at any level, at this case, at the individual level. And what I forget all the time because I'm not aware of them all are all the military efforts. And there's many of them. Not plenty, like enough, but there's a lot of them to keep track of. We'll do that eventually. Let's see. So now we got Gabby Franco saying it's frustrating that a Biden administration lets tens of thousands into our country without proper vetting. It's even more frustrating when the current processing time for naturalized citizens to petition a family member to come to the U.S. legally is more than 6 years. She's been waiting for 9 years. So it's just super frustrating. And again, letting people know the inconsistency in the either the laws or the execution or the enforcement of the laws is what's necessary, not just screaming and yelling. They see that as being a frustrated child who can't communicate, and they think they're better than us, so they think that they've figured it all out. So the best way to get someone who thinks they know better than you is to let them understand your position, and then they can become your ally. They can become upset for you. Remember, they just want to be upset for people. Half of them just want to be upset for people. Yeah. Oh, shit. I'm getting copyrighted for sure. So this is Melissa again, shooting some kind of, I think that was a stupid 9mm. But anyway, this is a pretty decent after collab, slideshow, whatever you call this little thing, of showing off the event. This is Dragon Man's largest tour ever. Super cool, and a massive machine gun shoot. And they got great filming this year, like really had some videographers out there, you could say, and got some great pictures and some great angles and stuff to really show off the event. Super cool. We live in a great time. Dragon Man's is a massive example of that. Dude doing his thing, sharing, enjoying, collecting, educating, and creating opportunities for people to do all of that stuff. I think that's everything. Yeah, that's everything. So now we'll send everybody over to Toby at Cape Gun Works. I'm a really bad opening act because I jammed half an hour of Corkin into his show, but they've probably been saying good stuff. So check it out. Remember the comment periods. Bug people who are ignoring the comment periods to talk about the comment periods. Challenge them, because we ain't going to win shit when Biden makes it where you can't do stuff. So let's shut that crap down. Let's empower ourselves to remember what we can do when we do it. There's a whole bunch of youngins that they've never seen a comment period happen before, let alone a successful one. So it's always a good feather in the cap. You've got a good burst of enthusiasm after, and guess what? You get to see some new organizations, perhaps, from the frustration that you get. All right, well, let's see what the what do you call this thing? The poll said. Would you go to the Gun Rights Policy Conference this weekend? 8% said yes, they're going already. So I'm guessing that's one person out there who we think we know. Wink, wink. 42%, I would go if I could afford it, which is, I guess, good. 50%, nah, can't go, or don't know about it. And then nobody voted for heck no. So that's cool. I don't usually check the Instagram. I usually put the poll over on Instagram, but there's no actual poll feature over there. So unless somebody commented on it, we're not going to get an answer from the Instagram side of what they think. Let's see, how do I get to mine? I go there, and then it'd be here. Yeah, no comments on it. All right, well, thanks everybody for joining us, and head over to Cape Gun Works. We'll be back later on, and have a great rest of your week. GearWebsites.com is your source for firearms-based playing cards and books. We also have mugs, shirts, and posters with designs that we've made live. Of course, we have patches. Every Friday is Free Patch Friday. We appreciate your support. Thank you for shopping at GearWebsites.com. And for Patriot, who's over there constantly posting epic quotes and slices of speech.
Shit. Ninja? Ninja! Ninja!
It's 11:59 at Radio Free